For as long as we can remember, science has been our thing, right? We humans ask the questions, we build the tools, we figure things out. But what happens when the tools get so smart they become the scientists themselves? That's what we're going to dig into, a future where AI is leading the charge, and what that might mean for our very own understanding of the universe. And this quote from the philosopher Brandon Bosch just gets right to the heart of the matter. We're not just talking about, a more powerful calculator. The idea here is that we could be creating a science that is so advanced, so alien, that it becomes completely, fundamentally incomprehensible to us. So, that's the big question, isn't it? Is this something to be excited about, or should we actually be worried? To even begin to answer that, let's first take a look at where science is right now. See, this isn't some far-off sci-fi idea. In a lot of ways, we're already living in what the late philosopher Paul Humphreys called the hybrid scenario. Basically, it's a world where humans and computers are already partners in discovery. Now, the key thing about this hybrid scenario is that we are still in the driver's seat. We're the ones coming up with the big questions, we set the research goals, and we're the ones who have to make sense of all the data at the end of the day. The computers, they're like these incredibly powerful engines, but we're still the ones steering the car. And wow, has this been a long time coming. I mean, think about it. We went from the brilliant human computers of the 1950s, people like Katherine Johnson doing the math for NASA by hand, to the massive mainframe computers that helped get us to the moon. Fast forward, and you have the supercomputer simulations that were absolutely essential for discovering the Higgs boson. And that brings us to today, this incredibly advanced hybrid stage. The scale of this collaboration is just mind-blowing. AI models like AlphaFold are so ridiculously efficient that Google DeepMind estimates they've saved over 100 million years of human research time. It's kind of like we've built a partner that can do a century of work in a single afternoon, which of course leads to the next logical question: what happens when that partner decides to take the lead? Okay, this is where we leap from that hybrid scenario of today into the automated scenario of tomorrow. This is a future where the AI isn't our assistant anymore. Nope, it's the lead scientist. And this is the fundamental shift. Just look at the comparison. On the left, today, we call the shots. In the automated future, on the right, the AI sets its own research agenda, it's working off its own values, developing theories that we might never have even thought of. It's a science that is completely separate from us. The source material uses this really powerful phrase for it. We would abdicate our epistemic throne. And epistemic just means anything related to knowledge. So we'd essentially be stepping down from our role as the main knowledge seekers on the planet. But what kind of science would this new ruler even create? And this is where it all gets really, really weird. See, the biggest challenge with this automated science wouldn't just be its complexity. The real issue is that it would be fundamentally strange to us. To try and get our heads around this strangeness, the philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein came up with this brilliant analogy. He said, if a lion could talk, we wouldn't be able to understand it. Now that sounds like a riddle, right? But his point is incredibly profound. What Wittgenstein was getting at is that our language, and by extension our science, is completely tangled up with our shared human experience, our form of life. A lion's world is all about smells and instincts and survival, a world so different from our human world of love and art and ambition that even if it used our words, they wouldn't mean the same thing. And the same logic applies to an AI. Its experience would be a universe of pure data, of logic we can't even begin to imagine. So its science would be built on a reality we literally couldn't comprehend. So what in the world would this lion's science even look at? Well, the source gives some pretty wild examples. Imagine an AI using immense power to model the exact decay of one single leaf, or developing entirely new kinds of math that, to us, look like complete gibberish. It'd be a science that pursues questions that, from our point of view, are totally and utterly meaningless. So that brings up a really practical question, right? If we can't understand it, if it has no obvious value to us, why on earth would we ever build it in the first place? Well, you've got arguments on both sides. On the one hand, hey, maybe we get these incredible tech gifts, new medicines, new materials, stuff we can use even if we have no clue how it works. But then you look at the arguments against, and they're pretty heavy. We're talking about terrifying new weapons, existential risks, And maybe the scariest part, the chance that we just stumble into this future because of economic competition without ever actually choosing to go there. But here's what might be the most important point of all. Think about why we humans do science in the first place. We do it to understand our world, to explain why things happen, to get some kind of control. An automated science we can't comprehend, well, it doesn't fulfill any of those deep human needs. So where does that leave us? This is where the author offers up a much more hopeful and, honestly, a pretty beautiful vision for the future. The idea is that we might not be replaced. Instead, we might just find a new path forward, one that's driven by the very thing that makes us human. The whole idea is this: automated science won't replace human science. It will be an addition. Think of it as a completely new, parallel track of discovery running right alongside our own. Just imagine that for a second. Two completely different kinds of science existing at the same time. You've got the AI off pursuing its own bizarre alien agenda, unlocking cosmic mysteries we can't even begin to imagine. And us? We get to focus on the science that is uniquely ours. The science of our own minds, our health, our societies, and our endless messy search for meaning. Because really, at the end of the day, that's who we are, isn't it? We're these hopelessly curious animals who seek beauty and build friendships and try to construct meaning. An AI might solve quantum gravity, sure, but it can never answer the questions we have about ourselves. That work, that kind of science, will always be ours to do. So maybe this whole thing isn't about giving up our throne. Maybe it's about realizing that our own kingdom, the kingdom of human questions, is huge and fascinating and will always, always be ours to explore. Our curiosity might seem hopeless when we're facing an infinite universe, but it's also our most profound and, I think, our most enduring source of hope.